Hi, welcome to my video where I talk about what it was actually like to live abroad in Bali and Java. I was just rewatching the intro that I made and I said stuff like, this is what a normal accommodation will look like if you travel abroad to Bali. No, it's not. I did not have the normal traveler experience, so this video is gonna be more like what it's like to live in Bali. This is like rural Bali, not Canggu, not Ubud. This is like Kerambitan, Tabanan, West Bali. So places that people like, if you look at a map of like activities to do in Bali, I saw a video, like an Instagram reel on this, and the west part was just empty. They had nothing there to like do. But that's where I was, that's where I lived. So that mystery west section, that's what this video is gonna be about. Also, if you are going through SIT Indonesia to study abroad in Bali, this is the perfect video for you. If you want to see the activities that you'll be doing, go watch my other videos on my study abroad, your study abroad. But if you want to know like how you're going to be living, what your life is going to look like for the next 4 months, stay watching this video. So yeah, enjoy. Our first week was orientation and we stayed in a puri or King's Palace. No longer the King's Palace, he lives somewhere else. The word puri directly translates to castle from Indonesian to English. It's a bunch of different little buildings that all connect through like a courtyard area. So some of those buildings were converted into 2-bed bedrooms that we all spent the first week in. You chose a roommate on the first day and you just stayed with them for a week. Super chill. The puri was also full of temples. We got to go in some of them we didn't, out of respect for the people who still lived there. And in the center was our classroom. Our classroom was a raised platform that had a bunch of beanbags on it, so we all sat on the beanbags in a big circle and looked at the whiteboard that our gurus would present to us on and teach us on. And then we would split up into smaller groups of, I think it was 4 groups of like 3 or 4 people each. Those are the groups that we learned Indonesian in, so. For orientation, to get used to like the food and to get on the right sleep schedule, we all stayed there together. It also really helped meet people. And that's where we learned to use the gayong. And the gayong is basically your shower and your bath. It's how you clean yourself. So you take this bucket and you scoop it into a bin of water. You pour it over yourself. That's how you get wet. And then you scrub yourself with soap. And then you rinse it off with the bucket. And you do not get into the tub. The dirty water goes onto just the floor. And then it all drains into a drain that's in the corner of the room. And it doesn't seem like the water is going to make it there, but I promise you it will. And it'll all be okay. And do not make the same mistake I did. The bin of water that the bucket is floating in is not a sink, so do not spit your dirty toothbrush water into the bucket. Yeah, so that's where we learned how to use the gayong before we were shipped off to our homestays. I'm presuming, well, it was helpful because otherwise I would have spit into the gayong water that I was sharing with my family, which would have been real awkward. So after that first week, we were shipped off to our homestay families. And I had a really nice homestay. It was a 15-minute walk from the puri, so I had the longest walk. It was arguable between my homestay and someone else's homestay, but I think mine was harder because I had to walk on the main road or on the back road. So I had 2 choices. I could walk on the main street road where there were just like so many motorcycles and the market or pasar was there, so you had to deal with everyone staring at you. There's no sidewalks, so prepare yourself for that. Or I could walk down this back way, but it was full of dogs. And the dogs will bark at you and follow you. They won't, I can't guarantee they won't attack you, but they never attacked me. They just followed me, and I hated it. I hated the dogs following me. I also didn't like them barking at me because, I don't know, it's just really overwhelming. So it was basically whatever I felt with dealing with that day, motorcycles or people or dogs. But then once I got into like the more housey area, it was a really nice, pretty walk because it was just these like thin little roads that went down between all the houses, and it was just really pretty. You'll see some videos here. And then my actual homestay, it was It's a bunch of rooms that are separated and an outdoor space that connects them. So there was the kitchen, and my ibu, or my homestay mom's room, were right here. And then there's this like outdoor space, and then over here was where I stayed. And then I called them my aunt and uncle. I think they were technically my homestay brother and sister-in-law. I'm not really sure. Never really got a confirmation on that. And then over here, like on the other side, like this is the outside area. Over here is where another student stayed, Adam. This is where Adam stayed. And then on the other side, like right here, was where their little temple was. And then the walkway was on the other side, like between where Adam and I stayed. And then in my specific room, I just had a bed and a dresser to put my clothes in, which was super nice, and a desk with a mirror. And that was the only mirror anywhere, because people don't have mirrors in Indonesia. Like, it's not really a thing, but they had it in my room because they knew Americans used mirrors. So they had a mirror in there for me. What else? Oh, my bathroom, I had a gayong. I did not have toilet paper and I did not have a bidet. I had to use the gayong after I used the bathroom. So that was really fun. Oh, good luck with that. I'm freed from those shackles. And then my ibu would feed me breakfast and dinner every day. And it was usually fried chicken and rice. There was always fresh fruit, fresh pineapple, fresh watermelon, delicious. I loved the fruit there. Mango. And then I would have lunch at the puri with all of the students at school. You will get woken up every day by roosters, birds, depending on your homestay. We had 2 birds that were the same kind of bird, and I didn't know what they were, and then this other bird that I can like hear it in my head right now. It was the most awful noise, and it started at like 4 a.m. and I know it was their alarm clock, but God, we've got phones. Let's just use the phones. There's no need for this damn bird. They have birds as alarm clocks. I feel lucky to not have had a rooster, but Adam can back me up because this bird was like from the depths of hell. And then halfway through my trip, like I came back from Java and they had another bird, and I was like, yo, where'd you get the woodpecker? And my homestay uncle was like, or brother was like, yeah, we went out and we caught it, and now it's in the cage. And I was like, you caught a wild woodpecker and put it in the cage? So yeah, that's where our woodpecker came from. And he just kind of grabbed onto the cage and slammed his head into it all the time. It's really nice. Made me so happy every time I looked at it. Please ignore that the day changed again. It's really hard to film between classes. The best part of living in a homestay was definitely the family. I loved my family. I loved my ibu. My bapak and I weren't super close, but like it was okay. And the kids were my favorite part. So I had one kid that like lived in my house, Berlin. She was 2. And she liked to bring all of her toys and put them on my bed, which was super fun, especially when I was trying to do my homework, but I actually loved it. So, and then I also had a niece. Well, I had 2 nieces, Baba and Monique. If you want to know more about my family, you can go watch Bali Part 1 because I show a lot more videos of them. Just one event that I'll share with you was Monique's dance recital at the end of my trip. I got a special invite to go watch her dance. But that's all I have to say about my first Bali homestay. There are 3 more homestays, and then I stayed in, I think, 4 more other accommodations over my trip. So make sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the content so I know if I should make another on one of my other homestays, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.